Here is the World Junior Heavyweight Champion, Tiger Mask.
Welcome to Indy Handshake. I am Jesus Cruz. This is, of course, the Lucha Libre edition of Indy Handshake. And joining me today is the long-lost Dinamita brother, El Tigre Dinamita, a.k.a. the Dynamite Tiger. How you doing, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
So Dynamite Tiger I met on Instagram, and I started following because I must have seen one of your posts. Somebody must have liked the post or shared one of your posts. So Dynamite Tiger, he shares a lot of vintage 80s lucha libre, and not only lucha libre, but music as well. How did that era, or why did that era stick with you so much?
It was just a lot of with lucha. I think a lot of it just has to just do with I was kind of raised with it, and then with that page, I try to kind of balance it out, and I try to put more like music. But then I kind of want to do a little bit more of the lucha. But lately I've been doing a lot of both, these past couple of weeks. But yeah, I try to mostly just stick with like the lucha. But yeah, it's one of those.
So
things that I love.
How did your page start? Did it start with lucha, or did it start with like 80s music?
It actually started just with simple pictures that I used to take with my ex-girlfriend, and then I just started posting like little, just small lucha wrestling related type of things. And then it went on from there, and I noticed that there was a lucha community. So I kind of wanted to do that. At first, what happened was I had a friend named Matt, and he got hooked on Lucha Underground, and he wanted to start a lucha page back on Facebook. So he knew that I was into lucha, and he asked me if I wanted to be one of the admins for the lucha page, and I said, oh yeah, let's totally do that. And that was back in 2014, I want to say. Okay. The page goes by Lucha Libre Unleashed. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
No, is that on? You said it was a Facebook page, right?
Yeah, it's like on Facebook. It's still active, but we don't really post that much. So that's how that kind of started. And so I started transferring like a lot of the pictures onto Instagram, and that's how it pretty much started. And then I started doing wrestling videos, a lot of editing and stuff like that.
So you edit the videos that you show on Instagram, you edit those?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I actually try to find them. I try to Google a lot of the stuff that I was raised watching, like in the 80s. Like, of course, Lee's Mark was one of the wrestlers, and Super Astro. So I try to kind of go backwards with those guys and try to, find some of their good matches and stuff like that.
So how did you, in your youth, how did you discover Lucha Libre?
It was actually my mom. My mom was the one that we used to watch it every Sunday on Channel 22 here in LA, here in California, and I've been hooked ever since. Not only was it lucha, but it was also WWF at the time too. I started watching WF when it was the golden era. So it was, what was that feud that got me hooked was the Big Boss Man and Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
And then with lucha, it was Lee's Mark versus El Fabuloso Blondie. That was what got me into lucha.
Okay.
So it was it was kind of like it was a good era. It was a good time.
Yeah, no, I got into it. I would say late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way that I discovered it is I was I watched WWF, whatever was on Saturday, Saturday mornings. We didn't have cable, so it was just whatever was free. So we would watch WWF stars, beat up like the jobbers or whatever. Yeah, and then
it's like Johnny the Milk Boy versus the Earthquake.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's gonna win that one?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I never got to watch like a pay-per-view or like Monday Night Raw. and I had to wait for it to go to VHS and get it like at the local video store or something.
Yeah, no, it's funny because in second grade, there was me and my friend, and he was probably like one of the other kids that liked wrestling. And at the school, I think there was probably like maybe 4, to be honest with you. And so there was this girl that used to sit by us, and her brothers were into wrestling. She had to kind of watch it, you know? Yeah. So whenever we would talk about wrestling, she would kind of butt in and try to kind of, you know. Yeah. And so I remember she would be like the person that would give us like, dude, who won the pay-per-view on Sunday? Who was it? Oh, Hulk Hogan beat blah, 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 blah. So she would give us like all the info because she was like the one that had the pay-per-views. Her parents got her like the pay-per-view every Sunday because of her brothers or whatever, you know. So yeah, that's how we would get like our info on the pay-per-views was because of her. But yeah, I never even ordered, to be honest with you, a pay-per-view when I was like a kid. Yeah. $50? Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, my folks
like 2 pairs of shoes right there.
Yeah, no, not my folks wouldn't let me.
Hell no.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I only watched Monday Night Raw when I would go to my aunt's house in Fresno. I'm up here in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So I would go because she had cable. So that's when I would watch Monday Night Raw when I was on like summer vacation. But Lucha Libre specifically, I got interested because I was at my cousin's. I was like sleeping over. We were playing G.I. Joe's upstairs in his room, and then I hear my uncle, his dad, yelling downstairs, like, chinga tu madre, déjalo, pinche puta.
Oh, yeah, they get all into it.
Yeah. Like, what the hell's going on? So I, like, climbed down the stairs and kind of peeked. I'm like, oh, shit, is he yelling at somebody? And no, well, he was yelling at the TV. He was watching Galavisión, and I remember it was Los Brazos versus, it was Pierrot and somebody else, 2 others. Oh, yeah. And it was like, I was hooked. I'm like, oh, shit, you know, he's cussing at the TV. He's really mad because they're beating up Super Porky, you know. Oh. Yeah, and after that, I was hooked, you know. Then he got us some lucha masks, and my godfather took me to some matches. So, yeah, I was hooked. But,
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, man, where you just get attached, dude. Just some of those, just the way how it was, you know. Back then, the storytelling was done so good. Even like I remember how bloody some of those CML matches were in the ring, you know, with like Los Brazos. Gosh, see, those guys would bleed all the time.
Yeah,
it was a lot different from WWF, you know, definitely from WWF.
Oh, for sure.
And then you have like two different styles, man. Yeah. You know, I'm way 2 different styles, you know.
Yeah, my godfather would say that WWF was fake and Lucha Libre was real. Like, if I would watch WWF, he's like, oh, that's fake. You need to watch the real stuff. You need to watch Lucha Libre. There's like, ahí sí se pegan. Like, they really hit each other there.
Yeah. I even remember how I would trip out on whenever I would watch Lucha was whenever they would show, like, Arena Mexico, and it looked all dirty. Like the floors, like all the poles, had like blood, and it was a whole different story from like WWF. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just so different, too different, you know, and that's what made it really like unique. And yeah, it's crazy though.
Going back to your page, how do you obtain a lot of these vintage photos and videos? Do you?
Honest truth, I honestly just dig, going through my little modes where I go on Facebook. There's some people that find some really cool stuff too. I try not to take like the copyrights either, you know, because I try to kind of leave it to them. Before I post anything, I try to make sure that it hasn't been completely overdone also. Just because I don't know where the picture came from. So I try to do like research on the pictures before I post, just so I, you know, don't take other people's images, you know, also could take it very offensive or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's very cool of you.
But yeah, I just dig through Google also, just Google like a lot of images. Sometimes I get lucky and I find stuff. I actually found a way that if you Google like certain wrestlers, like certain Mexican wrestlers on Google, like in Japanese, you'll find like different images, like from Japan or even from Mexico. But you know, so that's always like a good way how to find pictures of some of these lucha guys. You know.
Okay, yeah, I've been so I've been capturing a lot of my, there's some behind me. I've been capturing a lot of my tapes, a lot of my VHS tapes.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
sent you about 2 documentaries that you haven't seen, so that was kind of cool to kind of trade footage with you and check that out. I was gonna actually show you these. I'm planning on capturing these soon, and I'll send you the matches. But these are from like a local Mexican video store that was out here that went out of business.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah, these are like really fucking. This is probably like late '80s, early '90s type stuff.
Oh wow! Get a load of that.
They're stretching out Super Astro right there.
Oh yeah, I wonder who he's.
And obviously,
okay.
Obviously the classics, Santo Blue Demon versus whoever.
Those
But
are
yeah, man,
classic moves. I remember like Sundays they would play those. Like before you would watch Lucha, they would have those like on channel 22.
Yeah, I mean, look at the artwork, dude.
That is a good find.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got like Ray Jr. It's got.
So what year is that? Like 1994?
Let's see. Is there a
1993?
Yeah, I don't see a date on these. But yeah, it should be. Yeah, it's got to be around there. But yeah, dude, I'll send you these. It says Lucha Mania International with WWO.
Oh, WWO. Okay.
That's the guys that would put these together. We were just talking about WWO with a friend of mine because they would put on some super cards. We found one from Watsonville, and they had like guys like La Parca in them, and they also had like Yokozuna. Like they had like WWF guys.
Yeah, actually, what's weird was out here in Anaheim, Yokozuna had his last match out here in Anaheim with Min Mascaras at the Angel Stadium.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess he was kind of sticking around locally.
Yeah.
I know Rakishi has a promotion out here in Southern California.
Yeah, Knox Pro.
Yeah, I think it's like 909 area, like Inland Empire area, a little bit upper from Orange County.
Yeah. Did you ever work for a local promotion like
No, to be honest, no, to be honest with you, like I've known people that have, they have worked for like some of the local wrestling promotions, like out here, like in Anaheim. There was one that was going on. I don't even think he even had a name. They would just have wrestling every Sunday. And that's where Super Dragon started. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yeah, there was Revolution Pro Wrestling, I believe.
Yeah, I think he does work for PWG now or something like that.
He's one of the founders, yeah.
Yeah, and so so that was like there for a while. I think it was kind of like dead. Does that make sense? It kind of like it still had hype, but it really wasn't there. Like now, where they have what's that one wrestling school out here in LA? What is it called?
Was it the Santino Brothers?
Yeah, that's so there's even a lot of like wrestlers too, like local wrestlers that are starting little lucha schools too,
Yeah, I don't know if FMLL, the posters behind me, I don't know if they still have a school out there or not.
Yeah. I don't know if they do or not.
Yeah, I know there was a ref, or there was a ref named Platanito. I don't know if you ever got to see him at live shows.
Oh yeah. He was training guys. He's done stuff for Lucha Baboom. He's like the referee.
Yep. Yeah, I always like seeing him because he would fly. Like he would do a little plancha before he counted. He would always do it because he wanted to shine, So he would do a little plancha over the wrestlers, jump over them, and then count.
Yeah.
And the people were like, "Oh."
Yeah, he still does his stuff, dude. Yeah, he's still around. Actually, he does Lucha Baboon. He's like their referee. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever see a referee El Indio? He's another LA guy.
Who is it?
El Indio. He has really long hair, like fabulous fucking long hair. It's like coal black hair. But he's a character too, man. He's done a lot of FMLO shows and a lot of. He's well known in LA. Referee El Indio. They'll even post him on the flyer.
Yeah, it doesn't sound familiar. No,
Yeah,
no.
that guy was a character because he kind of do whatever the hell he wanted. He would go rogue sometimes on his own just to shine in the ring, or he'd be over there hella drunk and.
That's funny.
Oh, dude, that guy was a character. One time that it was at one of these shows, I think it was this one here, because I would take some of the local wrestlers to these. I would get them booked on these shows, and so the wrestlers came out. And they're all waiting for the referee, and they look over, and dude's over there with his beard, just like, oh, shit, we're on. All right. And then he'll go into the ring. But, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, dude, so how is the scene out there? Is it still shining? Is it even more now, or?
Yeah, there's definitely more shows now, or, before the COVID. There wasn't that much. I was just telling in an interview that I did, in 2003, there wasn't a scene until we started doing monthly shows. And then from that, a lot of other groups branched out and did their own thing. So yeah, after 2003, I'd say around 2008, 2010, the scene started
popping up again.
Popping up here in NorCal. But yeah, it was SoCal always seemed to have a more thriving lucha libre scene. It took a while. It took a while for the Bay Area to get on it, I think.
Oh yeah. It's crazy now. It's so crazy now. Because now it's like, you had your typical like Mexican families and going to these lucha shows, and then now I think what's kind of helped it a lot, which it's so strange, but at the same time it makes completely sense, was Lucha Underground. I think kind of gave it that hype again, because when who was it? When Pentagon Jr. played at this small, low budget gym, it was like somewhere like in East LA.
Yeah.
A while ago, a lot of Lucha Underground people showed up just to support them, So it's kind of like you have a lot of different people showing up at these events now, which I think it's hella cool.
Yeah. What were some of your favorite promotions to watch? I think you've mentioned you've seen WPW in Anaheim at the flea market, right?
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one was actually like cool to go to on Sundays. And I think sometimes they would have it on Saturdays. Most of the time, whenever I would go, would be Sundays. Like Sundays at 6:00. They would have just
that was the thing to do.
Talent. Yeah. I know Super Astro performed there. So did Eddie Guerrero. They had like a lot of good lucha talent. Vampiro has been there. Yeah, they've put a lot of good talent there.
Yeah.
So that was another way to discover lucha, was going through the swap meets too.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah, there was a couple of promotions up here that started doing like the different swap meets, like in San Jose, Oakland, and people, sometimes people that aren't even into wrestling or lucha libre, they would just walk by and just watch, and they walk around and let me buy a mask. My kid wants a mask, so that's always kind of cool to see people that aren't fans, like they show up and they're amazed by it, and now they want to be part of it. They want to buy a mask, they want to buy a shirt. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. But like I kind of like sometimes just feel that families just want to go just go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like that's one thing too that I like about the lucha scene too, that it still is like that. It still has that spark to it, where it's just like your typical Hispanic community showing up, just going just to have a great time.
You ever catch any shows in TJ or anywhere in Mexico?
The last one, and to be honest with you, I went to was back in 1999, and it was when Super Astro lost his mask. I was kind of like bummed out about that. And to be honest with you, like I didn't even want to go because I was dating this girl and she like broke up with me that same weekend.
Oh man.
So like my mom like forced me to go.
Yeah. So they broke up with you, and then Super Astro lost his mask, so it wasn't a good week for you.
Yeah. And like to be honest with you, it was really weird because this is before cell phones. So like she broke up with me, and so when I was just pissed the whole time, even driving up there, So yeah, that was like the last time I actually went. Like I've been wanting to go, but lately since like I've been hearing things about like the drug cartel and all that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I did have my bad experiences when I went down to TJ one time, so I kind of want to just.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, that's always that's always a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I heard was that they actually have a lucha bus that picks you up.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's all decked out with like lucha stuff like inside the bus, and they'll take you to a taco shop, and then they'll take you to the arena to go watch lucha, and then they'll pick you up.
So yeah, they have something similar in Guadalajara.
Okay.
They take you on this little 2-tier bus.
Yeah.
The top is open, so they'll drive you around Guadalajara, I think they take you tequila tasting, then to a restaurant, and then to La Arena.
Sweet.
Yeah, I never got onto it because I have family out there, so I'd always stay out with them. But yeah, dude, I would love going to Arena Coliseo in Guadalajara. Actually, the last time I went, a couple years ago, as I was walking in, I was paying my ticket and I was getting in, and then this guy bumps me like hella rude, like elbowing everybody out of the way. It was Mr. Niebla.
No way.
Yeah, he was late. And he didn't even have like a gear bag. He was carrying his shit like this, and he just had his mask on barely, and he was just hugging his gear and his boots, and he was like getting through the crowd, like get the fuck out of my way.
How funny! Wow.
Yeah. From going back to the old school '80s era, what was your choice? Was it AAA or was it CMLL?
Well, to be honest with you, it's so weird because out here, I think they changed times. I think they started showing CMLL around 12 o'clock, I almost want to say, and then they started showing triple A around 5. So CML would come on around 12, and then triple A would come on at 5 o'clock. So I didn't know that. So there for a while, I didn't watch a lot of CMLL. So I was more watching a lot of the AAA because I didn't, There for a while, I thought that CMLL had changed their name. Like it was kind of weird. And then because just like the time changing, so they took over that. So AAA took over that time, and then they would show AAA, around 5 o'clock, which that was the time that CMLL was being showed on TV. Yeah. So there for a while, I was completely AAA, man. Yeah. Which it was a good era because it had some of the best, man. Yeah. It had some of the best. It really did. It was a good era just because, the storytelling between Eddie and Art Barr were great, and then those Bingo Locals were awesome, and then Conan, turned heel, and I remember his retirement match that he had, and then he came back and he pissed people off.
Yeah, they all come back, dude.
Fans even wanted their money back.
Shit.
Yeah. So it was a good time, dude. It was a good time for AAA, in my opinion. So
you being in SoCal, were you able to go see the When Worlds Collide pay-per-view?
Yeah, I actually got 6 row for that show.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, so that was like, believe it or not, I found it kind of odd, just because it had like American wrestlers in it, and I kind of wasn't expecting for it to have such a big impact the way how it does now.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people have gotten backwards with that pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the coolest thing,
Yeah.
At the time, believe it or not, it was just kind of like, okay, cool, it happened, but right now it's like, dude, they love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what it is, but people just love that pay-per-view so much.
Yeah. I have it on VHS, and I find myself going back and watching it. Well, now I can just look it up on YouTube.
Right.
But I was already a fan, but I really became even more of a fan of Los Gringos Locos. So it was like, oh, these guys are amazing, especially Art Barr. I was really a fan of Art Barr. And Eddie, of course.
And like there for a while, like I remember when Eddie was doing CMLL, and he was just so simple. Like he was a good wrestler, though. You know what I mean? But once he joined those Gringo Locals, that was like a whole different story. It was just a whole different Eddie. And I know he's done. I know he's done like promos too with Conan. I don't know if you've seen those on like YouTube. Yeah, there's a popular one where it's just him and Conan, and they're going off on somebody. I don't know who the wrestler is, but yeah, dude, man. That was a whole good time for AAA for sure. Now, did you watch that when you were younger, or did you started kind of watching it recently when World?
I watched it. No, I bought the VHS tape in 1998 or 9.
Okay.
And when was the pay-per-view? What year was that?
1994.
94. Okay, so yeah, no, I was living in Mexico at the time.
Oh.
And I wasn't watching a lot of Lucha Libre. Ironically, I wasn't watching a lot of Lucha Libre in Mexico. I was watching more soccer. But
yeah, no, you would be surprised how many people don't watch Lucha Libre, but they watch WWE in Mexico.
Yeah. One of my compadres, that's how he is. He won't watch Lucha Libre. He doesn't know who anybody is, but he knows who Randy Orton is. He knows who John Cena is.
Yeah, it's so crazy because that's how some of those wrestler guys. Now I know Daga,
mm-hmm.
Lucha Underground, right? Guy, he was wrestling for Lucha. I know he's a big WWE fan. Like he wasn't. I was listening to one of his interviews, and he said he didn't really watch Lucha at his house. It was mostly just American wrestling, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he's a big. What is that? Chris Benoit fan.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Snappy style, kind of like his,
Yeah, no, but that's true. A lot of, especially the kids, they don't really watch Lucha Libre. They'll watch WWE.
Which makes sense because there's probably a lot more storytelling in WWE. I mean, if you're into that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there for a while, I remember AAA was doing it. And so was CMLL, was the backstage storytelling. I don't know if you remember those.
A little bit, yeah.
It was like a telenovela.
Yeah.
It was all cheesy, like, there was a lot of funny stuff going on too with all those little backstage promos.
So moving on to masks. So obviously you like to wear a mask. I'm not even going to ask you who your favorite tiger is. I think it's pretty safe to say, but tell us, are you a mask collector and how, actually even before that, how did you come up with the name Tigre Dinamita or Dynamite Tiger?
Well, what's funny was there's somebody that follows me on Instagram. Well, actually he was following me on Facebook on that Lucha page.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew I was a Dynamite Kid fan, and he knew I was a Tiger Mask fan, and so he came up with it. His name's Dusty.
Okay.
And so a shout out to him. And so he's the one that kind of came up with it. I was like, dude, I like it. So I kind of, like, at first I thought it was really cheeseball like, but it's already a cheese ball when I'm wearing another lucha wrestler's mask. So might as well just go with the full shebang and take it and just have fun with it, right? You know, so that's what I pretty much did. And yeah, dude, it just stuck around there for a while. You know, I was really there for a while when the internet came out. I couldn't stop watching a lot of those Tiger Mask Dynamite Kid matches. I was hooked, you know.
Yeah, no, those were great matches for sure.
So as far as mask collecting goes too, I'm really picky what I collect. I know there's some of my followers, they're actually on Instagram. They seem to be collecting just lucha masks, which they're not even fans of the wrestlers. They just collect them, which I think that's cool too, but I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
You know, so, but I do collect Tiger Mask, and I do want to get some Los Hermanos Dinamita. I want to get some of those. So I kind of want to start collecting some of the guys that I grew up watching. I do have a Super Astro. I want to get me a Lee's Mark, you know. So, but I do collect Tiger Mask. I have a couple more in the room next door, but yeah.
Do you have a go-to mask maker or a go-to seller?
Yeah, there's actually a guy on eBay that I found, and he sells stuff from Japan. This one and that one and this one are from that guy.
Okay.
They're a little bit pricey, but it's hard to find a Tiger Mask replica. Like, this guy's from Mexico, and the nose and the ears are different. For some odd reason, when a Japanese person makes a Tiger Mask, he like nails it right on the dot. But when a Mexican guy does it, the nose is a little bit off.
Okay.
The ears are way too thick and way too long. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess
yeah, like
the Tiger different, I guess.
Yeah, like if you go like on eBay, like you'll see a guy selling a Tiger Mask from Mexico. And don't get me wrong, it's real lame, Japanese lame. Yeah. And he's using leather and he's using all that, and he's selling the mask for $90. But the nose comes all the way up to here. The ears are like just totally different. The fur is like all like long. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, I try to go for like the replica type of look. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you ever had a mask signed? Like have you ever had an experience, like a rude experience with like a wrestler that didn't want to sign something? Or
actually, you know what? No. I actually kind of come prepared for that. You know, like when I went to go see Solar, you know, I asked him, hey, if I get a replica made, would you sign it?
Yeah.
And he said, well, actually, like, you know, he told me his prices of his masks and all that stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'm selling this for that, you know, and I'll sign it. Okay, cool. So I came with, you know, a little bit of money just to buy a mask off of him and get it signed.
Yeah.
So I try to make sure, because you never know.
Yeah.
Worse these days, they're so protective with their image. Actually, what's funny was some of the relatives are like protective sometimes when they see like their dad. Like I heard El Hijo de Kung Fu is like that. When someone posts a picture of his dad, he'll take it like offensive. I don't know how accurate that is, but I've never had that problem.
Okay.
You know, he's commented on some of my videos, but he's never liked them. But he'll be like, yeah, you know, that was my dad when he like, oh, okay, cool. He commented at least. You know, he didn't like it, but.
he's pretty much telling you, hey, I'm watching you. That's what he's pretty much telling you. Like, hey, I'm watching you. I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, like I've never had really any problems with any lucha guys that I've.
Yeah. No, the reason I ask is something, you know, you hear a lot of stories of guys like Mid Mascaras who would rip up your mask if it wasn't original, or who would, you know, be kind of rude. I had a instance with Elia Park, the original La Parca.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I met him years ago, right when WCW folded, and he was cool. I actually got to interview him. We used to have a little TV show back then. I interviewed him actually in L.A. At Frankensons. Do you ever go to Frankensons?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
City of Industry. I guess that's the LA area, right?
Yeah. Totally is. Totally.
Yeah. So got to interview him, like guys like Shocker and Mr. Aguila. So it was cool. But then I met him at an FMLL show here in San Jose, and a buddy of mine was a comic book artist, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I had a steel chair that was just laying there in my garage. So I told my buddy, hey, do you think you could do L.A. Park's mask right here? And not only did he do the mask, but he did this whole, I'll see if I can find a picture. He did like a comic book thing of La Parka like this, and it's at L.A. Park with like lightning bolts on his chair. So we show up to the show, FMLO, I'm backstage. Like I said, I booked some of the local guys on there, so I'm just chilling back there, and I see him. And I was like, oh, ¿cómo estás, Adolfo, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, hey, I brought you this chair. And he looked at it, and he goes, está chida. Like, it's all right. And then he just sets it aside, and he doesn't even say thank you or, I wanted to take a picture with him in the chair, but he was like, no, all right, now get the fuck out of here kind of deal. And
yeah,
like,
I heard about that. Yeah, I heard that he's too cool for words.
He came out with the chair that night, so it was cool. And then after the show was done, I'm like, oh, I'm looking for the chair. He can't take it with him. He wouldn't take it with him. But I guess he did take it with him. And when he did the L.A. Park versus La Parca, a AAA match, do you remember that? I think it was in a Triple Mania.
Oh, yeah.
He came out with the chair that I gave him. I was like, oh, fuck. So he kept it this whole time. Like, he actually took it with him on the airplane or somehow.
Oh, my gosh. That's freaking badass. Wow. Is it the one that had, like, the picture drawn on it?
It was a picture of him. I'll see if I can pull it up, and I might show it on here on the interview. But
that is rad.
I thought that was cool. Like, oh shit, that's my homie's chair that I gave, and he came out in Triple Mania with it.
Dude, that is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've heard stuff like that too, like happening. With like La Parca. I heard he's.
Yeah. So on going back to WWF, on your page, it says that you didn't really care for the Attitude Era. Is there a specific reason?
To be honest with you, like, and it's so weird because with like the Attitude Era, like I remember how cool it became. How cool. Like I think that was like that's when wrestling became cool. And by what I mean by that is that like you could actually walk inside a mall and buy yourself like a shirt with Stone Cold, or you could walk inside your local 7-Eleven and buy a cup, a 7-Eleven cup with The Rock on it, But it was a good period time of wrestling. I think I got into other things, like as far as like girls and skateboarding, and I kind of stopped watching wrestling and lucha kind of all together around that time. And then not only that too, but some of the lucha talent went to WCW, which I never really watched. A lot of that, I think it was just, I guess, it's as cliche as it sounds, everything kind of happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was weird because when I think about the Attitude Era, I think about, what was it? Lucha, WCW, and then I think about Hulk Hogan, the NWO, and all that. But and like one other reason why, I think the main reason is why is because when the Ultimate Warrior lost the belt against Sergeant Slaughter, I don't know if you remember that. I was really pissed because how the Macho Man like interfered and like hit him with the scepter over the head, and like so I was pissed. I was like, dude, I'm done watching wrestling. But not only to top that, it was the gimmicks, man. Like they had like the trash man, and they had like the plumber dude, and then they had like the hockey player guy. They were just coming up with all these like, and it's so weird because I tell like some of my buddies, actually like one of my best friends, Mike, he got into the Attitude Era, and he wasn't like, he didn't like, he knew who Jake the Snake Roberts was, he knew who the Killer Bees were, whatever, from the Golden Era, but he didn't watch it. So like I tried telling him, like, dude, there was a period of time of like wrestling where it got just weird, like all these weird gimmicks were like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just thought that some of those gimmicks were becoming, there was like a dentist, Dr. Isaac Yankum. You know what I mean? Like, Yeah, dude, stuff just got too weird for me. So I was like, dude, this is just. And then plus, Ultimate Warrior is not champions. It's like, why should I watch this? So I kind of became like the cool, and then I think it all went to cable too. So it was hard for me to keep watching primetime wrestling. And whenever they would show it, like on the weekends too, I remember like it would like you would have to wait until baseball was over during the day to watch it, and it would only show like 20 minutes of it. Oh, all right, cool, wrestling for 20, you know. But yeah, everything went to cable television. Monday Night Raw, you know, so it was hard to kind of keep in touch. And then 99 is when I started watching it again because of SmackDown.
Yeah, about same here. Same for me. Probably like 90, 97,
Yeah.
98 is when
you know, and it sucks. Yeah, I, you know, there for a while I was hanging out at this record store, and they're all Attitude Era guys. And they're like, dude, you should try watching some of this stuff. But believe it or not, you know, like some of these matches that they were talking about, you can't really go backwards with them and watch it even on YouTube or on the WWE Network because not everything is on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But from it being a good era, it was probably like it put wrestling like on the map hard, you know?
And I know now moving forward, I know you're not a big Lucha Underground fan either. Is there any specific reason? I mean, I watched like maybe one season and then I just couldn't get into it anymore.
Yeah. What's really weird was my girlfriend at the time, because she was a wrestling fan too, and so well, her family. So and so I remember she calls me up and she's all like, oh my gosh, I'm watching Lucha Libre. And I'm like, what? Wait, what? On what channel? She's like, I don't know. It's like a little midget. He's like, he looks like a white Power Ranger and he's doing flips. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. I'm like, oh, are you talking about Lucha Libre USA? He's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what this is, you know? And this was like 5 years ago, whatever. I'm like, I wonder what it is. And then it went to commercials and she's like, oh, it's Lucha Underground. I'm like, Lucha what?
Yeah.
I was like, no, like I never heard of it. So like I did like a little bit of research and I was like, that's kind of weird, you know? Like I'd never heard of this. And so I went to go visit my mom and she had, you know, cable. And I remember I was watching the Phoenix versus, what was his name? Mil Muertes.
Uh-huh.
It was like their little feud that they had going on back and forth. And I was like, hey, this is actually pretty cool, you know? But I didn't really quite get into it.
Yeah.
You know,
I
don't know. Like a lot of people say it's my loss. You know, it's like, oh, dude, you're missing out. But in the same time, though, we're not the only ones that feel this way. There's people in Mexico that don't even pay attention to it. You know, there's Mexican wrestling fans out there in Mexico that don't even watch Lucha Underground, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's just
it's not for everybody.
Yeah, and like not only that too, but like lately, as far as like promotions go, I've been like I knew it was a promotion that wasn't going to last that long because it reminded me a lot of Lucha USA. You remember watching that back?
I've seen, I remember seeing like bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah, it had like La Parca, I think, or like the Mini Parca, and it had like Mascarita Sangrada, Tinieblas, and some other ones. I think Blue Demon was in there too.
Yeah, they would switch up their lineup. I think that guy that I mentioned earlier, Mascara Purpura, was part of that as well. Yeah, I think they did do a show in San Jose. I know for sure at least one show they've done up here.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of cool, you know, but that's what Lucha Underground kind of reminded me of, and I was like, but then I started finding out that it wasn't even a promotion. It was like a TV show or something. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh. So it's like, okay. Yeah. But, you know, it did put Lucha Libre on the map, I think.
Yeah.
There's so many people that became fans and wanted to discover Lucha Libre because of Lucha Underground, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, you're right. I
No.
started watching just because it was Robert Rodriguez's network, and I'm a big, fan of it. So that's why I started watching it. And of course, it's
Yeah.
Lucha Libre, so yeah, let me give this a try. Let me check it out.
Yeah, and I know like a lot of people were like a lot of luchadors like were kind of upset because it was like a mockery, I guess, of it, taking the mask and putting it on a guy that just these gimmicks that they were kind of coming up with. And
Yeah. No, I did. I like I said, I only watched like one season, didn't really follow after that.
yeah, and it's so weird because the matches that I did see with Phoenix and Mil Muertes, um, dude, they were bloody, they were good, and it sucks because you have a TV show like that is having good matches, and it's not even a promotion, it's a TV show, but then you watch WWE and it's a promotion and it's not even doing as good as, so everything's all backwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's just, dude, this is a TV show and it's doing better than, WWE as far as the matches go,
Yeah.
But no, I was like, I was actually blown away. I think I watched like 3 episodes or something like that. I was like blown away from it.
Yeah. Well, so this will be the last question, but what has been your fondest memory in lucha libre or collecting? What has been your fondest memory to date?
Mine, gosh, dude, can I pick 2?
Oh yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Mine was when memory was when, okay, so there's a guy named Norman Smiley. He's an English wrestler.
Yeah, oh yeah. Black Magic.
Conan, yeah. When Conan was wrestling for WCW, he went and he discovered some talent, right? Like in the early 90s. I don't know if you remember that. And he brought some of those guys to CMLL. And Black Magic was one of them, Norman Smiley, and another English wrestler. He was the guy that, gosh, I don't know why I keep forgetting his name, but he's the guy that does the super kick. The English guy that does a super kick. He was like one of the originals. Yeah.
I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, it's really weird, but they both showed up in CMLL, and Giant Kamala had showing up too around that same time, and so they were building this like feud between them. Even promos were made with Black Magic going, Giant Kamala, I'm gonna get you, I'm Black Magic, blah blah blah, and so there was this one time where there was Giant Kamala and all these guys were trying to pick him up and they couldn't do it. Like Rayo de Jalisco tried doing it, and and then Dandy tried doing it. All these like lucha guys tried picking up the Giant Kamala and they couldn't do it. And so Norman Smiley, Black Magic, comes and just scoops him, body slams him, and the crowd went crazy. And I was like, dude, I gotta freaking find this video. I gotta find this video. So I want to make this short. So there was this little promo type of thing where it had Octagon. He would show you how to make sushi. I actually found that, dude. I was like, dude, I found.
Nice.
That was one other moment too. So I actually found that. But once things get better, my mind's in a better place. I'm gonna edit that and I'm gonna post it on that page on my on my IG. Second one was when Diego Mendoza won against Scorpio. I thought that was like for the hair versus hair match in Arena Coliseo. He beat him, man, and the crowd went freaking nuts, dude. It was like, people were all cheering for him. Like, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like those were like the moments that I'm still trying to find that Kamala getting body slammed. I can't find it. So.
Oh, you'll find it, man. I know you will. Yeah, man. Thank you for doing this interview. Like I said, I've never met you before. It was just through Instagram. It's like, oh, this guy's cool.
Yeah, this interview was hella fun, man.
Yeah. So
always send me messages, dude. If you have any questions, and same here. Thanks for having me on. I totally appreciate it, man.
Yeah, so everybody follow Tigre Dinamita. I'll post your site on here, and man, enjoy the content because it's really great content. So thanks again, brother. This has been the Indy Handshake, and I'm Jesus Cruz. Thank you for watching.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man.